I do not want to talk about this soap, but so much of this channel is about showing you successes and tips and tricks and tutorials and recipes and chemistry lessons, as much as showing you that it's okay to fail. And this one was a very big failure. And I'm going to tell you all about the fail in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You're at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 322 of 365 days of soap. Wild. And we are doing another Amy Warden soap challenge, and we are tackling the landscape challenges. Landscapes, in and of themselves, is totally dealer's choice. You can do whatever your heart desires. You have a picture in your mind, you've sketched a picture on paper, whatever. You make it so in soap form. And I like landscapes. I do a fair amount of them. And for this one, I had an idea to do little houses, and it didn't work. But it's a fun process showing you what my thought process was for the whole thing anyway. And maybe you can learn some ideas on what not to do, or ways that you can improve my technique to do your own little tiny houses or things. So let's go check out the video, and we'll talk all about this very weird pour there. Okay, yeah, that did say landscape pour 1. That's a thing. Now, I'm splitting this into 3 different sections. The grass and the dirt will be done first. And the kaolin clay is going into this. Figuring out the batch size with something like this, I literally drew it out. Okay, teak bamboo at 8.2% cat 9. All right, cool, good to know. No other information from Lonestar, so we are flying blind with all of this. Now, yeah, so if you need to figure out how much soap goes into, a mold or a portion of your whatever when you're splitting a batch like this, what you do is I actually drew it out in the exact dimensions of a soap bar, right? And decided that I wanted the grass to be, 0.25 inches tall, and I wanted the road to be 0.25 inches tall, and I wanted the grass to be, 0.75 inches tall in the bar. So let's say 1 inch tall by 2.5 inches wide, because that's the width of my bar, times, in this particular instance, for this little bitty baby batch, 12 inches long, because this makes 12 bars, right? And then you multiply, so you length times width times height, and then you multiply that by 0.4. Now, the multiplying it by 0.4 is actually important, and there have been people who've sort of blown that off and gone, oh, well, I don't need to do that. I can figure out how much oil I need on my own. And oh yeah, you see that? We've got some ricing issues, my friends. That's fun. I like that. That's teak bamboo rices. There you go. And yeah, you actually do need that 0.4, because that's not just determining how much oil you need. It's calculating, it's converting the number of, it's converting your, your volume to fluid ounces. So that makes sense. That helps too. You need to multiply it by 0.4, or take the entire amount that you got for your cubic, your volume, and then run it through a calculator to figure out your total, what that means in fluid ounces, and then go ahead and figure out your oils. But you could just multiply it by 0.4, and it takes care of both. And then so for this particular section, I think there were 12 ounces of oils that went into this. And then I went ahead and worked out how much lye and water I would need following that. Now, because this bottom part riced, this actually does change the way I am doing this pour. I am now aware that it is going to rice. And so there are going to be certain areas in my pour wherein I am not going to put any scent at all. I mean, immediately, do you see that? It immediately hit and starts going, I don't like you. You're not my friend. No, what is this? And that's crazy. Literally, the Soap and Clay Kidlets just screamed up, yes, I am. So apparently I'm talking very loud because I just said, you're not my friend. And they immediately said, yes, I am. That was funny. But yeah, so with all of this, I have to pay attention to how I pour all of my little pieces here and get it into the mold as quickly as possible and in the right ways so the whole thing isn't screwed. Because again, I'm doing three different pours for this landscape so I can control trace and control drying and control the time it's going to take for them to set up in between, so then I can pull a sculpting tool through it and all the things. And also, I didn't really explain it with a little card at the very beginning, but I explained it in the intro. I'm making tiny houses. That's what I'm doing for my landscape. I'm making little houses. So we'll see how that works, really. I was originally going to do, when I first saw this challenge years and years ago on the Amy Warden Soap Challenge thing, those were words, Amy Warden Soap Challenge thing, I got really excited and I was going to do The Hobbit. I was going to do Bilbo Baggins's, I was going to do Bag End. And so have like a gold circle in there and then like, the actual, the Hobbit hole. And I got really excited talking about it with Mr. Soap and Clay, and it was cool. And then ultimately I spent so much time talking about it and designing it that it sounded really scary and complicated and tedious, and I got tired. So I didn't do it. I never submitted anything. So that's fun. But we're gonna not do the Hobbit hole this time, although I really do still want to do that soap years and years later. And we will now move on to the second part of this pour, right now. And the second part of this pour is the houses. Now, I got dividers out, which means I made dividers out of cardboard. I mean, I still actually had these around because we've been doing a lot of dividers. There's a lot of requirements during the soap challenge thing to do. So yeah, there's all that. But I have, in this particular instance, I think what it ended up being was around 10 ounces of oils, and then, calculated my line, everything based on that. And I'm doing 4 colors for the houses. I'm going to pour in between each of these each of these dividers, and then let that set up for a while, and then use the rest of the batter to kind of pipe on the roof a little bit, but not in an interesting way. So yes, there's that. It'll all make sense, like when we're doing it. So like right now, we'll just start, and it'll make sense in the actual the visual. Now I'm going to super speed this up because mixing the batter and all the things, and you know how to do all that stuff. Oh, this is also all cold process. I don't even know that I've shown you any mixing of the lye solution and the oils yet at all in this video, because 3 different pours means a lot of extra time for this, and I wanted to keep the video reasonably watchable. So that's what we're working with today. And yeah, so all of this batter, it's beautiful. It's so fluid. It's absolutely delightful. But we are running into this issue of the scent, right? Like, what do we do with the scent? And so initially I thought what I would do first is just scent one little portion at a time and start putting it into and just put the whole thing into the container and then move on to the next piece. But then I saw the red starting to seep. And since the red was starting to seep, I realized I was going to have to get the other colors in to cover their bases, the base part next to the grass, pretty quickly. And at this point, since that red seeped, it might already be a complete disaster in there. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that's not the case. And now my pouring isn't on camera anymore because I had to move it out of the way. Had to move the mold out of the way to mix up the yellow on the fly with the scent color, with the scent color. My God. Yeah. So I, again, mixed it up, started moving things around a little bit different in this because, again, I am very nervous that we're not going to be able to get this soap into the mold before the scent gets it so thick, because it was rising immediately with everything. And I did reduce the percentage of fragrance that I used for this particular portion and thought that I could make up for it in the third portion, because the third portion is like the sky, and I can do more there. And assuming it doesn't discolor and turn it into a weird sky, it'll all be great. But yeah, you see, even with reducing it, the stuff that's had the batter that's had the fragrance in it for a while, it's getting clumpy and not fun, and just not fun. So yeah, that will set up for a little bit with all of these different little rectangle thingies here, really. And while that's setting up and firming up so I can pull the dividers out, I'm going to put the rest of the soap into just little sandwich bags. And then I will clip the tip of the sandwich bags and use the rest of it to pipe on the roof, so it has more of like a pitched type roof look to it, and they're not just straight, you know, squares for the houses before the sky. Yeah, cool. But with all this is actually a really fun way to do piping if you don't want to get out all the piping stuff, whatever. I have found that sandwich bags actually work really well for all piping, even like when you're doing frosting piping at the house. Just, I don't know, it's easier to work with. And I always work in such small batches when it comes to piping like cakes or actual soap, really, that yeah, this works. Don't need to get out your reusable bakery bags, the giant ones for this. Although reusable is a good idea. This is one of the reasons why I always have issues with like lining my squeeze bottles with plastic baggies and stuff like that, because, well, I mean, it's a waste. Like, I'm wasting plastic. I'm putting unnecessary plastic in the world, and that makes me sad. But I mean, I guess I'm justifying it now for the soap challenge, but also hypocritical. I don't know. It's all a thing. We all struggle with all these things all the time, don't we, guys? Like, I think, be cognizant of all things, everything in moderation, nothing in excess. Take care of your impact and your footprint on the planet as best you can, but every once in a while you're gonna slip up. And if you are one of those people that don't slip up and you like live this complete zero waste life, that's freaking amazing. Good on you. Like, that is cool. That is impressive. And that's something that, I try to do, and then I use plastic bags to pipe my soap. Really, it's all a thing. But yeah, so hopefully with the yellow you'll be able to see a little bit better kind of what I'm doing in there, but I'm just sort of zigzagging it across the top of this, corresponding color, and then I'm going to continue building on top of that and over all of the jazz to get a kind of roof looking, whatever. And that's fun. Unfortunately, this is the only little bit that you get, because my camera ran out of room and stopped filming, and I wasn't aware of that. And I look up to actually stop it after I had finished doing all of this, and it had already been stopped. It had already done its thing. But luckily, Georgia May was at the shop, and she just pulled out her phone, and I did the rest of it, using her phone. And so that's what it looked like when it was all firmed up and whatever. Now here's the problem. You see all the little cracks and crannies and crevices and everything that's in there, a lot of detailed little areas, and this particular fragrance blend rises and accelerates and gets thick fast. And so my workaround for this actually is I'm going to color this big portion here blue, and then I'm going to pour just a little bit of the very thin batter, just enough to actually fill in all of those cracks and crevices, and then scent the rest of the blue after that, because that will be fine if it starts rising and doing weird things, because that's just a dump over everything else and a bang and all the things, and yeah, it'll be good, is my thinking on it. And this particular pour, since I'm already worried about what they looked like, about the houses seeping underneath the dividers, I'm not expecting much from this at this point. But I'm committed. and I'm gonna do the thing. And I'm gonna show you the damn bars for good or for ill, even if they're ugly. Because you know what? Sometimes even professional soap makers screw things up. And that's fine. And that's fun. And you know, at the end of the day, if they end up looking ugly, I have someone named the Soapprentice, and she happens to have some pretty good felted soap skills. So she can felt some houses on them or something, and it can be, you know, something different. So not super, I don't know, I don't super stress out about any of this anyway, right? Like, it's never a ruined soap. Soap is never ruined. It's really hard to actually screw soap up. I have said this before, I will say this again. You might not like the design, but as long as your recipe was good, you still have a usable bar of soap. And so it might be ugly, but it still serves its intended purpose, which is to get you clean. So, you know, try to keep that in mind if you find yourself having big worries and stuff whenever you're making soap, being freaked out about things. Don't be. I am, I guess, looking forward to this cut, though. I'm not really expecting much, but I actually haven't seen the cut yet. Like, I am doing this voiceover before I've actually cut the bar, and I don't always do it that way. Sometimes I already have the cut in hand. In this case, I don't. So I have no idea what I'm going to be getting when I cut into this bar. But honestly, being completely honest with you, I'm not expecting much except a big old freaking mess. But, you know, let's go see that. And day 2, and on to the cut, and that thing has discolored like a mother. So we got ricing, we got acceleration, we got discoloration. I don't like this scent, and I don't know about this at all. This is not okay. All right, we're gonna do the thing. It's all a thing. That's cool. That's, oh yeah, see that? See the one that fell? What the shit? Oh, come on. No, I was gonna actually like stamp little squares into that to make them look like house windows or a door or something. But what's the point? Oh God. It's, you guys, I got plastic baggies out for this because every time I do a squeeze bottle thing and I'm bitching about squeeze bottles, somebody invariably comes along and was like, use plastic bags, use that. And I'm like, but I don't like wasting plastic. And I wasted plastic for this mess of a pour. Like, I'm not happy. They kind of look like Teletubbies though, don't they? Like, we can rename it. Like, it's abstract. They're abstract houses. They're not at all what I was going for. And you see how the yellow seeped down into the... God, it's a disaster. That's not... The scent smells nice though. It discolored a lot. Makes me mad. But, you know, that's okay. That was, you know, it's fun. It was a test. It was whatever. And, you know, now you can try it yourself and show me all your cool little tiny house soaps, and that would be a fun thing. And I don't know, you can use plastic baggies too, I guess. But that is day 322. That is not a bar that I would submit to the landscape challenge. But, you know, it was fun doing it. It was cool. I had whatever, you know, there it is. My landscape soap. Yes. I want to believe that if this stupid teak bamboo had not riced on me, it wouldn't have thrown me off my game, and I would have been just fine. That said, I am actually a professional soap maker and have been doing this for a bajillion years, and nothing should throw me off my game. So really, that's just me trying to save face when there's really no face to be saved. It was not the best pour, and the vision that was in my head didn't quite translate within the soap. And you know what? Sometimes that happens because ultimately these soaps still look cool. They look like Teletubbies. I think they look like Teletubbies. If you think they look like something else, then, you know, let me know in the comments, because it's all abstract. It's cool. They could be abstract houses too. I mean, whatever. Landscape soaps, tons of fun. That teak bamboo, not a lot of fun. And also, it discolors. So Lonestar is they're continuing to give us fits, really. So yeah, there's that. If you're interested in seeing what Georgia May comes up with for her landscape soap, you could subscribe to the channel, and then you'll be notified tomorrow when I drop the video and at what time. Yes, for those of you who are subscribed, hey, Sudzer, welcome back. Thanks for coming and watching me mess some shit up. Did you have fun? I actually did have fun. Like, it's all good. At the end of the day, you don't super sweat the small stuff in life, right? And the majority of soap is pretty small stuff. So yes, there's that. Thank you for being a Sudzer, I think was the point that I was trying to make. Thank you for being a Sudzer and being subscribed. All of the things. I am out of here for today. Again, I do appreciate you guys joining me for another round of 365 days of soap. I will see you guys all again tomorrow for another round of soapy fun where Georgia will make a completely awesome landscape. I just know it. Bye.